All right, guys, welcome. This is what we're going to call episode 1 of the PHNM Fitness Podcast. I'm Ray Dietrich. I'm what do we call myself? The Minister of Marketing.
Yeah, Minister of Marketing, and I'm the Minister of Propaganda.
Yeah. With Mr. Josh Ortegon, the head Minister of Training, Fitness, and Propaganda. It sounds like a Russian job.
Yeah, it sounds like Hitler-esque in the 30s.
So basically, here's why we're here. We're going to sit around and we're going to talk about fitness, nutrition, health, exercise. We're going to try to find people who know more science than us to pull on and educate us and educate you. We're going to talk about people's journeys through all this. Like today, we're going to kind of talk about, just to open it up, it's just going to be us two. And we're going to talk about my personal journey and some questions that I have along the way, because I think, like in the end of 2 months into Josh's programs, and I think a lot of people have some of these kind of similar questions. So this is the kind of thing you're going to have here. Why don't you tell them a little bit about where you want to take this PHNM Fitness and Nutrition brand?
Sure. So I think ultimately we want to take this to a place that makes fitness and nutrition easy for people, that it's a one-stop shop for them to find answers and questions and answers, and interact, right? I want people to ask questions and get their questions answered. I want people to not feel awkward asking weird questions. Understanding that everybody's at a completely different stage of their fitness journey. We're working right now with people that have competed in fitness to people who've never stepped on a treadmill, right? So I want this to be all-encompassing. I want it to be interesting, and I want to bring on real-life people that have had real-life problems. We're going to bring on friends of ours. I got a couple of friends of mine that we're going to bring on that will totally make you realize that you're not too busy to work out, right? Because that's the number one thing we get. I don't have time. Well, we're going to bring on a buddy of ours that's busy to his own fault for being that busy. But we're going to bring people on that will motivate you and give you real life examples of things that people struggle with. Right. One of the things I want to address is if your spouse isn't on board. That's real, man. There's people out there that are heavy and obese and out of shape, and their spouse isn't on board with them losing weight. Right? How do you handle that? It's a psychological issue. So I want to address all things of fitness that someone can have. Literally, they can come to our information bubble and find answers and support and get results. And if I can do that for people, combined with my content, with your ability to put eyeballs on it, I think we're going to grow a huge community.
I'm excited. The community we have already in these early stages, we're only, I think, 6 weeks into this kickoff. I mean, it's awesome. They're all hanging out together and collaborating with each other in comments and in the group and stuff. So look, whether you're watching this now in mid 2018 or, 4 or 5 years down the road, we're still going to have that community. Make sure you find us online, and we'll have it linked in the description here on YouTube, and you'll be able to find it on iTunes. So with that being said, we are excited. We're going to get right into it and kind of take this away. And not to be weird, this is the only time that this will have any edit going on in this podcast, but we started to record it before we knew that was actually going to be the episode. So it's pretty super organic, and I don't even know what the hell we said. So it's going to be great, and we'll take you to it now. Okay, we'll talk about where I'm at right now then. So I'm 7 weeks in. So like this whole thing, this whole PHNM Fitness thing kind of started with, I think Josh, he's been in the industry for so long, but you've also, as time has gone by, like everyone comes to you, hey bro, hey, can I get a workout plan? Hey, could you do a nutrition plan? Like, you get that a lot, bro?
Yeah, all the time. I post about it all the time. I'll hook up some people, right, because they're cool or they've done something in the past or something. But, I mean, usually it's a parent looking for, like, a hookup for their kid speed program, or you get the hey buddy. You get the hey buddy. You get it. Dude, I guarantee you, how many people hit you up and be like, hey, Ray, hook me up. Can you run some Facebook traffic for me?
Exactly. No, and that's how it is. So, we just started to see the demand, and we started marketing it and started working. So we're here now, and, it's working fast. So it's cool to see it all happening for you. But, I'm 7 weeks into a big change for myself, like full supplement program, your workouts. I'm in the macros. I'm following along. I'm testing out some other diets that we have coming, which is cool.
Yeah.
So, I have some questions, dude. Like I have some questions from you, from a guy who I've been, my background, I'm going through all this with you. This kind of evolved from like you helping me. And like, we just started to get serious about marketing this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a guy from my background, right? I'm in early 40s. I'm 42. I've been in and out of really good shape several times in my life, like between like jujitsu and the military and, as a police officer, different like higher levels of fitness than most at certain times, but I always fall off, get the dad bod rocking. So now I'm going, okay, I'm in my 40s. I can't fall off anymore. I have to get a lifestyle change. So I'm in the middle of this. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I'm not like a pro. I don't pretend to be like a pro, nothing. But I figure if I have questions, then other people out there kind of where I'm coming from have questions too, because I'm trying to master what's happening. I'm like phase 3, like I want to get it down to the gram so that everything is working and flowing together so I can overcome this thing called age, which sucks, right? So
where a lot of people are, a lot of our target market.
Yeah.
In that point, yeah.
And I think that's where the people that are probably going to have the most benefit from us are at. They're like, okay, this growing old thing sucks. I need to stay fit and in shape and be healthy and feel good. So here's the kind of questions I have. I have a little list, so I'm going to start peppering you a bit. Talking about calorie deficits. Okay, calorie deficits. The plan that I'm on, and I don't want to get specific to a certain plan, so because that won't matter. But the plan I'm on right now with you is at a 25% deficit.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are days when I'm nowhere near that. Like say it's a 2,200 calorie day. I'm like, it's like 9 p.m. and I'm knocking on 1,500, but I feel full. I'm good. I'm fully hydrated. Like I feel great. My percentages of my macros, now we're getting deep, right? But my percentages are in line. Mm-hmm. Like I'm pretty much in the ratios I'm supposed to be at. I'm just less. Tell me what happens then, and do I need to eat? What do I got to do?
So, man, this whole nutrition plan doesn't happen in a bubble, right? It doesn't happen in this vacuum where it's perfect every day, right? So, and a lot of people hit us up and they'll start the plan and they'll be like, man, I'm going to follow this to the T, 100% on point. And I know they're not going to, right? Because they got kids, they got family, they got work, they do that, they do that. So I get that question all the time. People are like, I'm nowhere near my calorie count. And that's where I tell them, because we're at this point, chase the protein. Chase your protein numbers. That's going to make you feel full. It's going to better support your muscle. If we're going to lack in any kind of macros, lack in carbs and fats.
Okay.
Don't lack in your protein. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
grams off your protein.
Protein's number one, right? Like
protein's number one.
Okay.
Number one macronutrient in the world is going to be your protein.
And look, how I operate is I get obsessive about things, and I think a lot of people, my type A kind of guys, we get obsessed about something, and I'm like, I look at it like a video game, bro. Like I'm trying to win my fitness pal every day. So, it's hard for me to like not know. And I know like this weekend, it was really hard for me. Like, I'm just trying to talk about like where I'm at. And I'm sure other people will understand this, but like I lived like a 3-week period where I did not cheat, like nothing. Like I don't think I had sugar for 3 weeks. Like I went very to the bone and I felt good about it. So this weekend I was like, okay, man, the cheat meal. Okay, what am I gonna do here? I know I need to mix it up a little bit. So I went for some stuff, dude, and I did not eat. I ate pretty cleanish, like nothing crazy, like no soda. I'm living like a crazy lean life right now. And it threw me out of whack so badly. Like the next 2 days, I felt terrible.
Yeah.
And it was like, like I had like a granola bar, like some shit that I hadn't.
It's like the alcohol thing, right? Yeah. Like we tell people, hey, no alcohol for 21, and I don't drink, and I don't have anything against it. Like that's not. People are like, oh, are you, is it a moral issue? It's like, no, dude. Trust me, I'm nobody. Hey, I'm gonna hold a moral compass to nobody, bro. Right? So it's not. If you want transparency, there you got it, right? So I'm not gonna pull the moral issue off it. I've been a drinker. I quit out of the blue. I felt great. And I thought, wow, I bet there's a lot of people that probably want to feel better. So I say, hey, quit for 21 days. Most people don't come back to it. We got a girl that we're working with right now that was a shot. She's like, I don't know if I can do it. And she's like, I'm never going back. That's how you are with your food. You're eating great. You're doing great. You're putting good stuff in your body. Your body's used to moving like a machine. Now, when you put something in there and pollute it, you know, and all in all, a granola bar is not bad, right? But when people when you think about good food, bad food, no one's like granola bar will kill you, right? But when you start eating good and your body starts working better, you start sleeping better. I bet you're more attentive at the computer, especially with some of the supplements we do, right? They're all about like your brain working. You don't want to go back to it. So some people, when they have a cheat meal, the problem is people have cheat days, right? People have a cheat day. It's a cheat 24 hours, right? And if you get into real big time heavy dieting, they'll call it a refeed day. Like if you're really, really like people who really, really hardcore carb cut, I'm talking like carb cut multiple days in a row, they'll do a refeed where they all of a sudden go like 15% of carbs, 15% carbs, 10% carbs, 5% carbs for like a long period of time. They'll have a day that they refeed 50% of their calories are from carbs.
Wow.
Because it just kicks their hormones back in, right? Leptin, ghrelin.
But that's not an average person thing.
No, that's a 1% of the human being. But an average person who like has that time where they eat bad or has that one drink of alcohol, you'll find their palate changes. Their palate change. They don't like the taste of it. It's like if you go carb free and all of a sudden one day you eat a donut, that donut tastes like something. Yeah, right. It almost like it's almost feels like straight thick liquid syrup-y.
Dude, I'm a sweet freak. I've always loved all like pastries and pies and candy. I've been that guy. Right now, you couldn't get me to eat that. It seems gross to me, and that's not me. So I've like totally switched over and adapted. Like I'm gone, dude.
Well, no, I say this all the time. Nobody realizes how bad they feel until they start feeling good.
Yeah, it's incredible what I feel, and it's a combination. Look. This isn't like, oh, I just ate better and I feel great. No, I'm in there like an hour a day, 6 days a week, like eating extremely clean, strict steps. I'm following everything. I'm counting every gram of everything, and I'm to the point now where I'm adding things. Like I'm like, okay, let's see what this does this week. So this week my kick was kombucha. Everyone talks about it, probiotics. I'm like, fine, I'll mix that in, see if I feel any better. Like one thing, right? Instead of getting all crazy extreme about everything and having no idea of what's working.
Well, I tell people all this. I've done all kinds of diets, nutrition plans, workout stuff that I wouldn't recommend because I can treat myself as a human science experiment because I know I can stop and cut it and change. Like literally, like I got a friend of mine that's trying to get me to do he won't do it. But he's trying to get me to do the carnivore diet.
That's the rage right now. Everyone's talking about it. Yeah.
Right. Mark Bell and Chris Bell and all those guys, and they're doing the carnivore diet and saying you get your fiber from your collagen, and you know they say once in a while. We actually have a friend of ours that's almost pretty close to the carnivore diet, and Tyler, right? I talked to him last night, Tyler Harris, and he was telling me what he was doing, and it was crazy, right? Crazy. He's stupid shredded right now. He's like 212 pounds, and we knew that dude when he was like 280, right?
Wow.
Yeah, a friend of mine wanted to do, and every once in a while it kicks in my head. I'm like, I might do the carnivore diet for like 7 days. And the guru, like the hardcore guru scientists would be like, you're dumb, you're stupid, blah, 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 blah. But there's something to be said about seeing how things affect you.
Right? Like that's kind of where I'm at. Like I'm like, okay, that's probably not sustainable or something I'd want to do forever, but would I try it for a week to see how I feel at this point? Because now I think I'm so much more in control of my health that if I change one thing, I'll know like that was that one thing. Because I haven't eaten fast food in 2 months. I haven't drinking alcohol in 4 months. Like I've got rid of a lot of the trash. So I know all of it at this point. Like I would know anything that I would change or take out. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, that is an interesting place to be where like if somebody
Mm-hmm.
fed you something different and you ate it, and you'd be like, it was that. I ate that. That messed with me.
100%. I would know. I mean, I'm even introducing new foods slowly. Like, I'm not fucking around. I want to know exactly. Like, because it's hard. Like, this is a lifestyle change more than anything. So for me, it's like learning what I like to eat that fits within all this. So I've been moving through fish in a big way, like your salmons and halibuts and trouts. And I'm like, man, I'm looking because I know the numbers now.
Yeah,
like for me, I think the macro counting is much more than what you end up at the end of the day. It feels like to me, and I'm the novice, is that it teaches you how to eat.
100%.
I thought I knew.
So there's the train of thoughts there. Like my brain works in phases. Like I work in compartments, right? I think dudes do that, right? Girls blend it. Dudes work in compartments. Like I can have I never have a bad day. It's weird. I have one little compartment that gets crappy, but it doesn't mess with the rest, right? Girls can have one thing go wrong and the day's over. And I'm like, what's your problem? Like, what do you mean? Like, whatever. But I think in phases and compartments, right? And when it comes to calorie counting, if you've never done anything in your life, like fitness, nutrition wise, I won't tell you to count calories. I'll tell you to eliminate certain foods. Like, hey, stop eating out. Don't eat fried foods. Quit drinking your calories and do a 15-minute walk. We've done that. That's been the beginning with a lot of people. But then if they say, hey, I'm not getting results, then I'll say, let's count your calories. Or, hey, let's just make sure we get enough protein now. And I want you to do squats and push-ups at the house, right? So my phase one is always like, for somebody who's never done anything. I'm talking a couch potato, right? I'm talking probably 99% of the marketers right?
Oh, yeah.
Who sit at the computer, right? I say, hey, 15-minute walk, quit drinking your calories, no fast or fried food. Then I'll say, okay, start doing some kind of resistance training at the house after they do that. Then get your protein numbers, and you're still not going to count drink your calories, and you're still not going to eat out. Then after that, I'll have them count their calories. Now, if I feel like I'm working with somebody that has a history of kind of working out once in a while, I jump straight to counting calories and counting macronutrients. And there's a big Precision Nutrition's a big company out there, and they don't. They say, ooh, don't do that. And I say, I don't know, like, what have you always said about online marketing? You have to have what to make decisions? You say you have to have numbers.
Oh, yeah. You have to have the data. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, you have to have the data all the time. Like, right? Like, we're never going to scale a marketing campaign until we know the conversions and the price.
Yeah.
I don't know how to change your nutrition plan until I see the data. And usually I don't have to see the data. You'll track for a day on MyFitnessPal and you'll go, shit. There you go. We're done here, right?
Right. Well, it's levels. I mean, dude, you can't expect people to come in the door who've never eaten anything healthy in their life or moved or exercised or did sport, nothing.
And be like chicken and rice all day. Have fun.
It's been decades, and now you want them to move into this whole thing where you've got 50 carbs today, all right? And they're like, what? Like,
or you're going to the gym. Yeah, recently, I started working with this guy who had a different guy working with him, and he's heavy guy. He's not in shape, but not awful. And he said the plan the guy gave him was an hour of fasted cardio and then an hour and a half of lifting at night. And I'm like, bro, do you have a job? He's like, yeah, I work in construction. First of all, if you work in construction, you don't need cardio.
Right.
You don't need to get up, and you don't need to spend an hour and a half at the gym. Right? I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, throwing those kind of lifestyle changes is setting people up for failure.
Right.
But you've been active. You get it. So I think counting calories, I'm way more for it than against it. I think you have to see the numbers, but it totally teaches you how to eat. Just that data in front of you, 100%. And
if you do it long enough, you start learning things that you like that fit in there. And like, you're trying new things. Like, every time I go to the store, I try something new or whatever. And I'm like getting different foods that I'm ordering and trying samples of to see if that works. You know what I mean? Like, so I think the eating gets easier, and it's not as hard as it looks. And it's actually kind of interesting. You know, especially if like you're into food, like
you start trying different foods. Like, I've had so many people who have switched from chicken to turkey. because they're like easier to prep. They like it better. It fits their nutrient needs. It's a little more dense in protein. And I don't know if you've dieted a lot, but most people who have dieted a lot, they're so tired of chicken, bro.
Oh yeah, it sucks. That gets old. Yeah.
I mean, crock pot and cold chicken on salad with dressing is just like, over time, you're just like, I would rather eat my freaking shoe than eat this. Right
now, I'm on like a greens kick, like plus like other proteins, which works really good. So yeah. I'm pretty happy with that. But I'm learning.
It'd be interesting to come out with too, is work with people to come out with and I'm an awful cook. Not that I don't know how to cook, but I cook very bland. Like, I'll warm up a sweet potato, eat it like an apple, fry up hamburger, put salsa on it, and then like grab a handful of almonds and walk out the door. Like, I don't cook like that, right? I don't care about it. I don't care about taste. I mean,
I'm getting to, hey, yeah, taste is cool, but it's really fuel, not for fun. So whatever.
I'd like to get into like having a way to provide like healthy recipes.
Yeah.
And that's mostly for women. Dudes usually don't care, right? Dudes are just
still hard though. Well, that's I have a list of questions here, dudes. It is hard because here's my next question. Like, you've been at this for a long time. So what are your cheats and your hacks? Like here I am sometimes, right? We were talking about this a little earlier.
Yeah, cheats and hacks. Cool. Yeah.
Like, okay, at the end of the day, you got to get your protein numbers up. You've had 52 regular chocolate protein shakes and you need to mix it up. Like, what are you throwing in there? Because I'm like making shit up as I go. I got some ideas from you already, but like.
You know what's gross is, man? What's gross is I drink egg whites.
Let me ask you about that because I have a question. Why egg whites when everyone's talking about the egg yolk having so much protein?
So you can't drink a raw egg. You can't pull the Rocky because it's not pasteurized, right? Could get you sick. Someone put that on Snopes. I don't know. I just thought raw egg, you can't, it's not pasteurized. Egg whites are just easy. I eat yolks. It's literally a cup of egg whites, drink it, 25 grams of protein. You're out the door.
So, okay, egg whites, what else? If someone's not so brave, because I may not be there yet. I'm getting close.
That's weird. It doesn't taste bad. I tell people it tastes like watered down skim milk, but the idea of it is gross, right? Crock potting your meat, like doing a whole bunch of meat at one time and having your food, like, you ever seen people meal prep and they meal prep like 25 meals in a little container?
Yep.
I don't meal prep that way. I meal prep buffet style. I'll do a whole crock pot of chicken. I'll brown 2 pounds of meat. I'll ground up and put on a pan like a whole pound of turkey breast and mix it up like burger. And then I'll just I have like 2 pounds of chicken, a pound of rolled beef, and a pound of turkey, and it's in a container and it's in the fridge.
Oh, you know what? There's going to be some cooking with Josh videos on the way. I can promise you that.
Yeah, fine. Ray say Josh do.
Hey,
right?
Dude, that's like this is a cool project for me because it's like I'm living what we're going through and what you're teaching. So, like that's cool. Like you had told me like one day I was going through a section where I think I had just gone like full on keto. And I was having trouble eating. I had no appetite. And you're like, yeah, throw a scoop of oatmeal and some almond butter in that shake. And, and I did that. And I was like, oh, this is life. Like, okay.
Yeah. So people who have a hard time getting calories, Mike Wines, who's on the page, did who's borderline genius to the point, like it's like the stuff he puts up, I read it and I'm just like,
I listen to his videos. I'm like,
it's like, you're like, wow, that's PhD stuff. I'm just out here trying to get big. Right. I came up with like this protein shake that was 1,000 calories. And it was like a cup of whole milk, a cup of oatmeal, one of those chocolate swirl keto OSs, keto OS chocolate swirl ones, one of the 2.1 or whatever it was, the early ones. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, whey protein. It was literally like 980 calories.
Dude.
But when you drink your food, it doesn't fill you up as fast. Like if you literally made a cup of oatmeal and cooked it and did a keto drink and drank a glass of milk and ate egg whites for 25 grams and then you couldn't finish it. So much food.
Right.
When you eat it up, your body doesn't know it's chewing. It just goes in. It's 1,000 calories. And your body doesn't release the hormones that makes you feel full. So I would have kids that would be like, listen, you're going to do 1.5 of these a day. You're going to get an extra 1,500 calories. And then you're going to eat 2,500 calories. They're 4,000 calories. So that's one of the hacks for like get big. And maybe we'll come out like protein shake, get big, lose weight, like videos that you can make with stuff at home. Because a protein shake is easy, man. I mean,
I love it, man. And I'm experimenting. Like, look, you have to have stuff that tastes good. I'm a sweet tooth guy. I'm getting over it. But like, let's come out with like some snacks that like people can put together that like still keep you where you need to be, but it's edible. You know what I mean? Like,
and it kicks the cravings too. Like I tell people all the time, like an apple with a little bit of peanut butter on it will kill a craving.
Yeah.
It really will. Dude, one of my hacks, and I don't know, can we leak out the Phenom plan a little bit?
Oh yeah.
So we're coming up with that.
By the way, this is episode 1.
We're episode 1. Okay. Dude, you know what's cool is when you sent me the first Joe Rogan episode, and it was like him and some dude sitting in a closet. I was like, wow, and look at it now. It's some two jerks sitting in a closet watching people trip on acid or something crazy, right? So
and just like that, we had a podcast. It was just
all of a sudden he's Joe Rogan, and he's more known for his podcast than for being on the TV shows.
Crazy.
But the keto, not the keto plan, the Phenom plan we're putting together is literally what I've done to lose weight. It's a combination of carb cycling, calorie cycling, efficient timing of eating your nutrients. It's just this whole combination of all these different types of diets.
And I'm already in the middle of the carb cycling part right now, and it's pretty awesome. Like part of it, like I've been doing it, it's great.
I tell people for carb cycling, or some people call it keto cycling. Even though we're not putting you in nutritional ketosis, but we are giving you ketones, right? So you're getting the benefit of it. I tell people when you carb cycle or keto cycle, and you go to the grocery store, your grocery cart looks like you're eating for a normal human. Yeah. So you're getting everything you want. You're getting eggs. You can get steak. You can get potatoes. You can get rice.
I'll tell you what, bro. Like I went to the grocery store with my daughter, and she's a pescatarian. So she's on board with pretty much everything I eat. Pretty much, right? Like we'll eat fish together.
Yeah.
But my grocery cart, when it was just her, because the rest of my family was out of town, we just bought like 2 days of food. And I looked at it, and I was like, it was like shocking to me. I was like, man, that's the cleanest my cart has ever looked in my entire life. And I will happily eat all of that. Like I'm walking out and I'm like, none of this food has ingredients. That's weird. Like it's all just the food. Like it's such a damn shift, man. It really is. It's
so nutrition. The keto, the Phenom nutrition diet and workout that goes with it. On the days you get a whole lot of carbs, say you have a day and say my whole lot of carbs is going to be like when I did carb cycling, I had a day of 500 grams of carbs.
Oh, I'm like at 227, bro. And I'm like, oh.
It's like a job, dude. It's like a job. Like you're literally thinking like, I might not eat
blueberries, bro. I found blueberries, protein and carb. I'm just like, all right, fine. Blueberries.
Yes. So you're eating a lot of fruit and you're eating tons of rice, but we're doing it around your lifting. So like, say somebody has 200 grams of carbs that day. They're doing like 25 grams pre-workout, 75 grams post-workout. So they're getting their carbs when their body needs it. And then maybe they only have 100 grams throughout the day. You're not just loading your body with sugar. You're using the carbohydrates for when you need it. Because they're bioavailable right there, right? And on the no carb days, or the really low carb days where you're like 10, 15%, right? Of your carbs, 5, 10, 15% of your intake is just carbs, and it's not a lot of carbs. Allows you to eat vegetables and all that. And those are the days you're not lifting. So do you really need them? So learning to do nutrient timing and then cycling your carbs if you go 2 days in a row of low carbs, you know that on day 3 you're going to have a big lift day, so you get carbs so it doesn't drive you insane.
Yep.
It doesn't drive you crazy. And on the days you're getting all those carbs and you're like, oh my gosh, if I eat another potato, you know that you got 2 days of carb depletion coming.
It's nice. It's another way that for me, like 7 weeks in, it's a great way for me to vary my days. Because if it's like all low carbs, like that's great and all, but man, that gets to be a grind, especially when you're trying to lift and you're doing your cardio, getting really thin on carbs. It gets rough sometimes in there. Man.
And believe it or not, if you use MyFitnessPal and you're having your no carb days, you can go to literally like Wendy's and get a Wendy's cheeseburger and take off the bread. And because keto is so big, you can type in MyFitnessPal Dave's classic double with no bread.
That's
and
crazy.
It populates it. Yeah. I tell people all the time, it's almost easier to eat low carb keto on the road.
I think it is because you can always find a hamburger. Always. And just go to the hamburger, no problem. Like that's a go-to. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Because if you're trying to eat high carb, you have to have low fat with high carb. You're not going to find it on the road.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
All right. I got more. I'm going to pepper some more at you, man. I got 3 more things I'm going to hit you with.
Okay.
This week. All right.
Brace.
So 25% calorie reduction is like the all-in, 30%, whatever, maybe we're talking about it. What's too much? Like if you're like, okay, what if you wanted to be at a phase 4? This is like competitiveness. I'm not even there, but like what's healthy? Not general population. Say a fighter's getting ready to go to a training camp and needs to go all the way.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? Calorie reduction to retain muscle. Where are we at?
I recently had this conversation. I got a buddy of mine that's a black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Masters world champion, right? Unbelievable, right? Big, strong, lean athlete in his 40s. And he hit me up, and I think his BMR, which is like what he burns just being a human, was at like 2,100. And he goes, can I go under 2,100? And what we decided to do was to go beyond a 25% caloric deficit. He had to cut his days lifting.
Wow.
So he went from 4 days a week to 2 days a week, had 4 days in the gym. So he in the jiu-jitsu school, right? So 3 to 4 days of jiu-jitsu, and he was doing 4 days of lifting. So we cut his lifting down to 2 because we basically decided we're just going to lift to try to preserve muscle. We made sure he got his body weight and protein. And then from there, it's a psychological game, right? Right. It's a mental game. But that 25% is nothing I personally researched. I got that from people I trust in the industry. There's a guy, Lyle McDonald, who has been involved in like diet and nutrition and like even keto dieting and performance and research and hormone research. He's a crazy dude, but from the research he's done, 20 to 25% caloric reduction is you're on a diet. You're for real. Like 15 to 20, you're still in the caloric reduction. You're still okay, right? It's still a medium cut. And in the nutrition plan, we start people out at 17 and a half because the first 4 weeks I'm about education, good habits, 17 and a half. You can handle it. Then we'll go to 20. Then we jump to 25. If someone's going to go to a 30% caloric reduction, they need to decrease what they're doing in the weight room. They need to make sure they keep their nutrition there. And at that point, it's not about physique, it's about performance.
Right.
No, and if you're going to eat carbs, it's got to be around your workouts. You got to learn to recover.
So it's really the game of like you just have to get your calories in at some point. And that's like so foreign to me. Like I haven't done that since I was 17 years old, and we did horrible things thinking of like the things we did that we thought were healthy. Like it was god awful, right? But we used to load ourselves with food. So that is the thing. Like if you're at 25 or 30 or 25%, like you just have to hit that 25 in calories just to make it happen.
Yeah. Oh, well, if people don't eat their calories, I tell them all the time, in 2 or 3 days, you're probably going to break. You're going to have low energy. You're going to get cravings. The mental game's going to get you, and you're going to eat a cheeseburger. Right? You're going to put yourself in a bad position. I don't think I've ever been at more than a 25% reduction. I probably have, because there's two sides of the equation. There's your intake and your output.
Right. With that too. I mean, these hour workouts. I mean.
Yeah. So like, you could be in a nutrition 25% deficit from what you think you're at, but if you bump up your activity level, you're actually going to be in more.
Right.
Like, you lift 4 days a week, you plug those numbers in, and then you cut 25%. But then you add 2 days of jiu-jitsu or something, or really high intense cardio, you're going to be in less a reduction.
Yeah.
More of a reduction, because you're putting out more. And there's a lot of hormone changes in that. Like, people think metabolism is like this exact number. And people are like, oh, I ran this number and my BMR and my total daily energy expenditure is different. I go, yeah, that's fine. Now we're just looking for a starting point.
Right.
It's not going to be perfect. I mean, there's physiologists that have the machines that put you in there to figure out your
right, but for the average person, right? If you're an athlete, go get the testing, go get the measurements, go do it, right?
If you're Conor McGregor and you need to have it down to a T because it's millions of dollars on you making weight, hey, go to Olympic Training Center, let them run the numbers on you, get your total exact number, great. But for general population, we're just throwing a dart. You're about 2,000 calories. We'll start there. Oh, you haven't seen results in a week? Okay, let's tweak it a little bit. Let's add, let's subtract, so.
Right. All right. So how about this? How often are you changing your workout? Are you always varying? Like, you're at the top of your game. Are you changing up like weekly, monthly? Like, what do you do personally?
And that's the hardest part, because everybody gets in a rut, right? Everybody gets in a rut. I probably change my workouts every quarter.
Okay.
Every 12 weeks, I do something different. But so when I write a program, the volume escalates and drops and escalates and drops and escalates and drops. So I might do the same exact exercises, but I'll do different sets and different reps throughout little mini 4-week periods. But, for general population people, it's got to be enjoyable, right? Working out has to be enjoyable. Like, when we do our onboard form, I let people tell me, like, hey, give me the foods you will not eat. Right? And they're going to say, I will not eat fish. Well, then I'm not going to program fish. Like, I'm not going to be a jerk. Like, that doesn't mean you're all in. That just means you don't like fish. Like, hey, I want to lift and I want to work out and I want to get in shape, but I hate squatting. Well, I'm not going to be that a-hole that's like, you have to squat or not do our program, blah. Right? You know what I'm saying? So I tell people, change up your program as you see interesting and you get excited about it. If you're excited and want to bench all day long, bench all day long. Just do the other stuff so they don't get hurt.
Yeah,
right?
That makes sense.
So I say every 12 weeks, I probably switch it up. But man, everybody in the industry gets in that little rut where they're 6 months into it. They're like, I feel like I'm doing the same plan over and over. That's why I tell people you got to find a hobby. Go find a hobby. You kayak.
I do. And you know what? Like, I looked it up just to see, obviously, what is it? It's Lance Armstrong's Livestrong site. Like, breaks down any kind of exercise and will tell you like how much calories you're burning. Like, there's a calculator there, right? So I go and look and I see kayaking for me is about 500 calorie burn per hour. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I do a 3-hour run on Saturdays and I'm doing an hour run every day. And that's just like probably fueling half of what's happening because it's just so many calories I'm burning, but I have fun. It's not exercise. It's like finding activities now. Like, I live pretty close to Yosemite, so we get out there and I'm doing a 2,000-foot climb. Like, the calorie burn on that is ridiculous, but it's fun. So that's where I'm heading with it all. And it's
where general pop needs to realize that fitness and wellness and getting in shape doesn't have to happen at the gym. Right? I mean, go play a round of tennis and tell me how much, how dead you are when you're done. Go pick up basketball with your buddies.
Something. Let's move. Get off your ass.
I mean, yeah, right. Like for some people, it's like go mow the lawn and do yard work. right?
I'll tell you what, I mean, and you don't need a gym. You don't need to do anything. Like I have this horrible, it's damn evil, dude. It's this little $5 yoga DVD I bought on Amazon for beginners.
Yeah.
My goodness, man. Like it's 20 minutes and there's 4 different workouts, right? And by the end of it, like you think it's all like zen and chill and it's going to feel, no, man, like you're at the end, you're like shaking.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Sweating.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Go, and it's a good thing for people. Go find the exercises you like to do. If you like to ride your bike, ride your bike. You know, if you want to go do yoga, go do yoga. If you want to do it in your house, do it in your house. If you want to get some kind of workout for brand new people, it's just got to be interesting and keep your attention.
That's it.
It doesn't have to be what I like.
Well, let's call this episode 1. And we're not going to close this out with a big thing because we don't even know what this thing is yet. We're excited to do this. But iTunes, subscribe. YouTube, subscribe. That's where you're going to find us. We're going to be back with a bunch of guests, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So with that,
Peace out.
Later.